This summer, I went to Utah and visited Huntsman Cancer Institute, and I saw the extraordinary facilities that they offer. They spare no expense from the tiles to the actual floors that they host the patients in, by a cancer survivor himself, John Huntsman Sr., so he knows the struggles and the heartbreak that the battle with cancer can bring, but it's also the largest cancer research hospital in the entire world. They also just added a children's wing onto the hospital, which shows they're trying to expand as much as possible, meaning that every single donation really does count in trying to fight and end the battle of cancer.
My dad passed away from colon cancer when my mom was pregnant with me, so I was never able to meet him. But I have heard many stories about him, and my family likes to tell me stories about how when he was asked what he wanted to be when he was older, he would always say that he wanted to be a father, and he was never able to be that. So if we were the generation to end cancer, then hopefully that would allow more men and women to be parents, siblings, aunts and uncles, and grandparents.
Well, I had 2 aunts who have had cancer. One of them passed away when I was 7, and the other one is still currently fighting her battle. I think being the generation to end cancer would mean a lot because it would give my aunt who's still fighting a chance to live, even though my other aunt wasn't given the opportunity.
My grandma was diagnosed with lung cancer over Christmas break. She had gone into the hospital because she couldn't breathe very well, and we just thought she had a virus or something. And then while we were sitting there waiting in the yard, the doctor came in and said, "We found something in one of your lungs on the scan. We don't know what it is yet, but we think it could be cancer." And I just felt that pit in my stomach, and it was one of the worst feelings I've ever felt. Because people always talk about cancer, but they don't talk about like the fear you have of it. Like everybody's scared of it. It's something everybody is terrified will happen to one of their loved ones, and it's one of the worst things to watch one of your loved ones go through. Over the next months, we spent a lot of time together. We went on like one last hurrah kind of trip to the Grand Canyon, and those were some of the best times, and I really treasure that, just knowing I didn't have that much time left. So I really cherish that. And then she passed away about a month ago due to lung cancer and the effects of that. And one of the last things she said to me was how proud she was of me and how much she loved me. And I guess like to be the generation that end cancer would help other people not go through this type of suffering that my family and I went through, and that more importantly she went through, because seeing her deteriorate and lose her battle to this cancer was one of the worst things I've ever had to watch.
My name is Allyse Donarski, and I'm 20 years old, and 4 months ago I was diagnosed with cancer. I thought it might be appendicitis because it was just a really horrible pain. It was Mother's Day actually too, so that was just great. So I thought it was, just something little, but after surgery and they took it out and looked at it, and pathology got back to us and said that it was fibrolamellar hepatocellular carcinoma, which is a big word for a really rare type of liver cancer that only affects adolescents and children. So I've most likely had it for since I was littler. They told me that I have a 50% survival rate for 7 to 10 years. So cancer's affected me in just about every way it can. I look at that 7 to 10 years ahead of me, and I know that it's possible that I could have less than that, but it's also possible I could have more than that. I mean, it is a coin toss, a little less than a coin toss, but a coin toss. And so I look at it and I know I should be really optimistic and say that I'm gonna have grandchildren and watch them run around in my yard and my old neighbor's gonna yell at them and it's gonna be great. But sometimes it's really hard to be positive about it all. And it would be really great if no one else ever had to go through this. It would be amazing to be the generation that ends cancer so that no other mom has to look at their daughter and think whatever my mom's thinking. It's got to be the hardest on my parents. But I'm gonna cram everything I can into these 7 to 10 years, and then everything after that will be just gravy. And I will plan to have grandchildren and everything, because that'd be really awesome. So we're gonna end cancer, because it's what needs to happen.
My mother's a cancer survivor, and it affects her every day. It's 20 years later. If we were the generation to end cancer, that would mean no hardships and struggles for those people that it affects on an everyday basis for their entire lives.
So the first time that I experienced the pain of cancer was my senior year. My grandmother, which I call my yaya, grandmother in Greek, she had this really rare form of cancer. It came, and within 4 or 5 weeks, she passed away. It was really strong. She couldn't really handle the chemo or anything. And so that was kind of like a really big shock to my family. But then 2 weeks after she passed away, my mom got a call. I'll never forget, I was sitting at the kitchen when my mom got a call from one of our cousins that said that our little baby cousin, who was only 8 years old at the time, they found a tumor in the back of her brain, and it's a medulloblastoma, which is a form of pediatric cancer. And that just like changed the whole family system. I guess my family went into like complete shock.
Cancer has impacted my life in a number of ways. I have 2 very close friends who were both diagnosed, one in their 20s and one in their 30s. And so one is a sorority sister and one is one of my closest friends. He was out for a run and found a bump on his neck and was diagnosed with leukemia and is now a survivor and very happy for that, but it was a very scary time. I have a sorority sister who is now on her 3rd bout of ovarian cancer, and so have been involved in a support network for her. She's a single woman and lives far away from her family, so we've been involved in a number of outreach pieces related to just supporting her, loving her from afar. But cancer has been now a complete part of her journey and part of her story. She's now an author and speaks on the speaking circuit about what cancer has meant in her life and how it's impacted her and how others can find connection with friends and those around them related to supporting men and women who are fighting cancer and who are working to survive from cancer diagnosis.
So cancer has affected my life in a couple ways. First, my great aunt died my freshman year of college from colon cancer. And currently my mom is undergoing chemotherapy for lung cancer, which started out as synovial sarcoma, which she pretty much had a tumor the size of a softball sitting on her sciatic nerve. And then that spread to lung cancer. So she is currently battling and fighting that as we speak. And to me, if we were to be the generation to end cancer, it would mean more birthdays with my mom, more memories to make, less fear and worry every day about the fear of the unknown. And not only for me, but for my kids and our grandkids. And I think even taking away the fear of the unknown that we may get cancer or someone we love may get cancer could increase our daily lives and the happiness we live every day.
We are the generation to end cancer.
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 We are the generation to end cancer.